Good Miha welcome everyone to another live Mind the Craic. Today I am continuing on with this magic triangle, a triangle that is made up of three factors: affinity, reality, and communication. And this triangle is something that was discovered by L. Ron Hubbard, and the special relationship that exists between these three factors is absolutely worthy of your further inspection. And I'm up to communication, so if you'd like to check out videos that I did earlier on the subject of affinity, which is also the degree of liking or a consideration of distance, how close or how far you need to be from something. Affinity, then we also did reality, your appreciation of things, what is real to you, what is actual, and what appears to you and what you observe. We discussed many things related to that. And now we're on communication. And I did start with it just the other day, and I'm going to continue a little bit, because communication, as you all know, is something that has attracted a lot of attention. And it does seem to be a very complex kind of issue. Many different factors involved in it, and there's a lot of things that people don't understand about it. And really, the reason that there is so much importance or emphasis placed upon it is because it is absolutely essential for life. Because, as L. Ron Hubbard said, and this is a quote, communication is essentially something which is sent and which is received. So if you look at things not even from the basis of communication between two people using words, maybe it's through email, written communications, it's not just that. It is also, therefore, something which is sent and something which is received. It is also the basis of interaction, you could say, in the physical universe. And so the extension of communication into that part of life will really start to give you a much broader understanding or appreciation for how important communication is. And then that also sheds light on the relationship between affinity and reality, especially when you take it into that physical sort of aspect of life. Okay, as opposed to the human, let me say that physical universe sort of thing, physical environment. Okay, so pushing on. So have you noticed, or have you often wondered for yourself, that when you communicate with someone and it goes well, it goes good, it's smooth, and you maybe walk away or leave or finish that communication with a good feeling. You were happy about it. You were like, wow, that was a really good, conversation I had with that person. I really enjoyed that. What was it that you got out of it? What were the factors that were present in that communication that made it good? And is that something that you can learn about and replicate so that you have more good conversation, more good communication with the people that you want to have communication with? And conversely, have you also been in a situation where you've had a communication that was rough? You came away from a conversation feeling horrible, feeling awful. I mean, why is that? What are the things that are present in a communication, a conversation, an exchange of some sort with another person, or even with the physical universe, that leave you feeling dull, odd, strange, hurt, or upset? Now, aside from the obvious things of he insulted me, she insulted me, that was, etc., etc., those sort of negative, very clearly negative sort of experiences, there's a lot more to it. And hopefully you will have a look at those past videos if you hadn't seen them, so that you will get more of an appreciation of this affinity, reality, and communication triangle. Okay, now not only is there communication with other things or other people, there's communication with yourself. So what do I mean? Well, your mind is essentially a storage of memories, a collection of your memories from the past, and even postulations or ideas that you've created about the future, dreams, aspirations, and that sort of thing. You've created pictures of certain things into the future. Now, how would it be if you couldn't communicate with your past at all? Essentially, you would have no memory. How would it be if you couldn't communicate with past conclusions or ideas or things you had thought of? Ever had that idea that you'll remember the phone number or you will remember to do that thing, and then you promptly forget? So communication doesn't just have to be with other people or with the physical universe. It has to do also with your mind. The location of that we're not going to get into right now, but you got the idea. Communication is essential. So I'm going to cover one extra component of communication today, and I'm going to start off by giving you this quote, and then we're going to discuss it a little bit. And the key word here is intention. So I better go over that before we get into the quote, because otherwise it might just shoot over your head. Okay, so intention. And I'm going to read to you here something again that is expressed by L. Ron Hubbard in regard to intention. Okay, so here it is. Just a short section or a short excerpt of L. Ron Hubbard's ideas on intention. It is something that one wishes to do, an impulse towards something which is intentional. One means to do it. Okay, so an intention, I'm going to add a little bit of that from my own concepts here, right? Okay, so it is something that one wishes to do. It's an impulse towards something. So really, if you create a wish or you have a wish, you created it yourself, or it came, maybe it originated with someone else. You turned the idea over in your mind. You thought about its survival potential or its ability to help you create effects in the world. And you decided upon that as a course of action, however it came about. But you decided, you put a little bit of creativeness into that and deciding that that was a thing that you wished for. So in you wishing for it and containing that as an idea, there's also, let's say, a quantity of attention that goes toward that. Whatever variable amount of intention or attention that is that you're putting into it, still there is this created amount of attention or part of your mind that is looking out to want to and means to do, accomplish a certain thing. Okay, so that's intention. Here's the quote now. And again, this book here, Scientology, The Fundamentals of Thought, this quote is taken from this book, and this gives you the basic principles of Dianetics and Scientology. Incredible book. At a very, very brief glance, you can see how thick that book is. It's not huge at all. It gives you all the basic principles, and understanding and grasping those basic principles, your life, I know myself, became so much more colorful. It was something that helped me understand so many different aspects of life, break it down, and allow me to use those understandings to better fulfill, satisfy myself, and help have a better life. So anyway, that's my own experience. If you do care to read that, you will certainly understand a lot more if you go ahead and apply those things. Okay, anyway, here's the quote. The intention to send and the intention to receive must both be present in some degree before an actual communication can take place. Therefore, one could have conditions which appear to be communications which were not. Okay, so that's the quote. Now, of course, that relates to the previous thing that I had said. Communication is essentially something which is sent and which is received. So we have an object. I'm just going to substitute this pen in for a second. The pen is sent from a point A, and then it is received at a point B. So we've got that whole concept, right? Now, going further from that, the intention to send, so the intention, the idea, the wish, the held in the mind, created idea that this pen is wanted, desired to be sent from that point to another point, that has to be present. So that intention to send and the intention to receive must both be present in some degree before an actual communication can take place. Now, the most obvious one that I can think of, and I'm sorry if it just hits me inside of the head and I have to say it, the guy's watching sports on TV. And does he have the intention to receive any communication other than what's coming from the screen in front of him? Absolutely not. So, ladies, girls, anyone that's viewing someone that's intently watching the sport because they have decided that this game, that whatever it is that they're watching, that they have the intention, the desire that this is important to their survival. If they miss that goal when it happens, if they miss that action, that strike, that kick, whatever it might be, when it happens, you may damage their survival. So make sure before you go ahead and try and get attention from someone or just give a communication across that you have their intention to receive. It can work wonders if you, and guys, this is one thing to do. You can let people know, I have no intention of receiving any communications right now except for what comes out of that screen. That's the communication you want to receive. And even announcing it like that and being very overt about it can often clear up and prevent a lot of upset. Okay, so here we go again. The actual communication for an actual communication to take place, we have to have an intention to send and an intention to receive. Otherwise, an actual communication is not really taking place. Okay, and the last part of that was, therefore, one could have conditions which appeared to be communications which were not. So, how does that apply to other aspects of life, and how does that apply to these factors present when you were experiencing a good communication? You came away from the conversation feeling good. Well, what was the intention there between the two of you? Did you have your intention to receive communications from that person? And did that person have the strong or just an intention to receive communications from you? Well, have a look at how the degree of liking for each of those people involved would improve the intention to receive communication. We also looked at the concept of survival and how things that you desire because they're going to help your survival, you want them close to you or you want them to contribute to you. So how much does the communication that you're giving to that person relate to their survival? What is their intention going to be if it is very strongly related to their survival? They're going to have a strong intention to receive your communications, and you can understand that from vice versa. Now, what about you're intending to achieve something? You have a goal. You want to make some effect happen. What degree of intention do you have to receive a communication that relates specifically to the task at hand that is related to you wanting to create effects? Have a think about that. So this aspect of intention to receive and to give these communications is a very, very important part. So have a look at that with regards to the communications in your life that are going well, that are not going so well, and see what you can do, and perhaps look at those other videos on affinity and reality. What can you do to improve the intention to receive and for you in giving your communications? That's all I have time for. Shane for today.